Looks like they got a lot on your mind, Mr. Kern. All right, Tom.
Tom, thanks very much. Lieutenant, if you're ready.
I'm ready, sir.
Okay, we're going to call this regular board meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners to order, and roll call of commissioners. Commissioner Cuminato,
Here.
Commissioner Farrow,
Here.
Commissioner Lyons. Up the mute button, Tom. You're still muted. Commissioner Lyons is here, and Commissioner Roach, myself, we have a quorum. Like to take the opportunity to observe a moment of silence for retired Sergeant Roberto Melendez, who passed away on Thursday, January 21st of this year. Also observe a moment of retired Officer Pat Laturco, who passed away Saturday, January 30th. Also observe a moment of silence for retired Officer Luis Santana Sr., who passed away on Sunday, February 21st. And please observe a moment of silence for retired Officer Thomas Will, who passed away on Sunday, February 28th. And also, please observe a moment of silence for retired Officer Jesus Llanos, who passed away on Sunday, March 7th. And may they all rest in peace. Next item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes of the regular board meeting from February 16th.
We'll move.
Been moved to accept and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? They've been accepted. Chief Garcia is on a vacation, and we have Deputy Chief Baraja sitting in for her for the report of the Chief of Police. Chief?
Thank you, Commissioners. I just wanted very briefly to brief you. Chief Garcia and I have met. The big news of last week was the vote of no confidence, in which 54% of the people that voted expressed no confidence in Chief Garcia's leadership. Chief Garcia is taking this as an opportunity to fine-tune her management and, see if there's any adjustments that need to be made. I myself am going to be meeting with the union and trying to foster a format where we can address some of their concerns. Unfortunately, I have to share that I was a little bit disappointed with some of the skullduggery that happened during that vote, but I think it's one of those things that, happens when folks have interests that are going against the current chief of police. But we're going to get through this, and I think we're going to look at it as an opportunity for growth. At least I know I am. The Training Academy class is progressing. We're anticipating an estimated graduation date for those souls of around the end of April, the beginning of May. I can't give you an exact date because there's a week kind of grace period we allow ourselves in case, God forbid, anyone has a problem with the final exam and has to do take a sort of a remedial class or do a redo of the exam. But right now, everything is on track. We're working on the field training officer program, which is getting experienced officers submit their name. We vet the candidates, and those folks are the people who are going to be training the young officers when they hit the field. And we're also going to be beginning an active recruiting effort for the new class once the civil service announcement gets in place. We've got social media kind of first and foremost toward this. I'm hoping that after this Friday, the 19th, when the governor issues the new recommendations, we'll be able to have more face-to-face contact. But in the meantime, we're gearing up for all possible contingencies to get the word out. So I'm sure the chief will, address these things with you when she returns from her well-deserved time off. But we're still marching ahead with all those good things.
Any questions for Chief Baraha? Chief, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening, by the way. Okay, moving along. Is there anybody for the union this evening, Lieutenant?
They were notified, but I have not been notified of anything.
There's no one on the call right now, so we'll move along. Internal Affairs report has been emailed to the commissioners. Are there any questions or comments that we can pass through the lieutenant to the folks over in Internal Affairs? Okay, hearing none, we'll move along. Clerk's report.
I just have one item to report. I received a second step Barrows request, so I'm putting that in place, and we'll have to plan for a second step Barrows meeting. I have two citizens that would like to come, forward and talk to you regarding their complaints. So I'll plan something for April or May.
Sounds good. That's all we have
Yep,
for second step?
Yeah, just for second step. And we, as you all are aware, I'm in the process of putting together Barrows hearings for the month of April and May.
Okay.
And that's all I have, commissioners.
Commissioners, any questions for the lieutenant? Okay. We have nothing under new business, nothing under old business, and nothing under correspondence. We have one under letters of appreciation. It was actually an email to Deputy Chief Baraha on behalf of Officer Peter Billings and Officer John Pachera for quote for their outstanding work regarding an attempted suicide the officers were able to prevent, unquote. So congratulations to those two officers on some fine work. On a widow's pension, under item number 8, we have a request from Mrs. Teresa Laturco to receive a widow's pension effective immediately. Paperwork is all in place, Lieutenant?
Yes, it is, sir.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the request.
So be.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, the request is granted. On to traffic. The items under 9A, we have 4 handicap parking requests that are recommended for approval by the city traffic engineer. We have a do not block driveway sign and a no parking here to corner sign. Actually 2 of those. And several signs being installed at Barnum Avenue in Pembroke Street. I'd entertain a motion to combine the items under 9A and approve as such.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Aye.
And seconded by Commissioner Kuminato. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on, 9B. The first item is installation of handicap parking sign at 75 James Street, first floor, unit 1L. The recommendation from the city traffic engineer is not to approve this based on the availability of off-street parking. Any discussion, or is there a motion?
The only question I have is for Lieutenant O'Donnell with regards to those installations, whether we have the same situation where there's obviously adequate parking available, or are these being denied because they weren't able to meet whatever.
Yep, so on the application that I have from social services, there is parking available and they are allowed to use the parking spaces on the premise on James Street.
Right. Well, that's the case for the other ones too, Lieutenant. 165 Marigold, 68 Allison Road.
I think with the
138
exception of 165 Marigold, which the lieutenant actually has something to report on that. The others are 9B, Roman numeral 4, Holly Street, 9B, Roman numeral 5, Ruth Street. They fall into the same category.
Yes,
Right.
correct. I did receive a phone call and a visit from the resident at 165 Marigold. He did supply a letter requesting an appeal to approve his handicap parking sign for his wife and himself. It's a very, very busy street. It's easier for Mrs. Sayez to move from the car to the front of the house versus the driveway. I have attached the letter as well as my interview with Mr. Sayez. So my recommendation would be to approve in this case.
Okay. Getting back to the first or the other three requests, B, Roman numeral 1, 4, and 5. If the commissioners feel it's appropriate, I would entertain a motion to combine those three items and approve or accept the recommendation of the city traffic engineer, which is not to approve those requests.
So move.
It's been moved. Is there a second? It's been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those matters have been approved, or the recommendation is approved, I should say. Regarding 165 Marigold Avenue, which the lieutenant just explained the circumstances, what would be your pleasure if we want to grant the request? The motion would be to not accept the city traffic engineer's report and approve the request.
Lieutenant, are you familiar with this area or what the situation is with this particular
Well, I
constituent?
was not actually on, at the site, but I certainly am familiar with the area. I was assigned there as a sergeant. But in this case, when we had discussed this type of item in the past, if the resident, wrote a letter, this individual went above and beyond. It actually came down to see me to, discuss the matter, that the commission would possibly recommend the approval. And that's what he did.
Gentlemen, any other questions?
No.
Would somebody care to make a motion?
So moved.
And that is the motion to approve the request, which is to deny the recommendation of the city traffic engineer. Is that the motion, Tom?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it, yeah.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So the motion has passed it, and the request for a handicap parking sign at 165 Marigold is approved by the board. Moving on to the third item, 9B3, installation of handicap parking sign on 68 Allison Road. This is a little bit different than how we usually handle things. The side of the road that 68 falls on Allison, there is no parking at all on the side of the road. So you cannot, obviously, we can't install a handicap parking sign where there's on the side of a street where there's no parking. They are requesting a handicap sign across the street. And the city traffic engineer saying there's no there's no prior circumstances where this is allowed. If you request a handicap parking sign, it's in front of your house, not someone else's, is what he's saying. So there's no prerequisite for any of this. Seem to be very adamant about that. So I just wanted to explain that, why that is a no. And I would entertain a motion if the commissioners feel appropriate that we approve the request of the city traffic engineer, which is to deny.
So
So
moved.
moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Oh,
Opposed? Okay. Now, we are at item 9B, Roman numeral 6, the installation of traffic control engineering review at Barnum Avenue. I'm sorry, traffic control signal engineering review at Barnum Avenue and Pembroke Street. There are currently, I believe it's a four-way stop, correct, Lieutenant, to your knowledge?
Correct.
Okay. The city traffic engineer is saying it's unwarranted for according to his letter, a couple of reasons. A lack of accidents at the location and a lack of volume, which would warrant a traffic signal.
So we did approve the no parking here to corner sign zone and do not block driveway at Barnum and Pembroke. So the recommendation is not for a traffic control light, but there are signs that are being recommended and you just approved for this item.
Gotcha.
Is this the one with the Councilwoman Maria?
No, this was from a recommendation or the request from the Church of God and Saints of Christ, 605 Barnum Avenue, Commissioner. I received the request from Rebecca Hamilton back in February.
Hector's not here tonight, but I could have sworn we talked about this one previously too. Or Barnum and Pembroke, because that's right near the school, I believe. or where the school used to be anyway.
Yeah, or it's right across from the old Housatonic in that stretch, in that area.
Right.
So there were photos that I did provide. So as it's not the recommendation, for a traffic light, there certainly is a problem there is being addressed by the traffic engineer to have signs installed. So at least to alert people of the, that area, the particular area in the hazard.
Yeah, I think that'd be a strange place to put
It would be.
traffic lights.
Yeah, it would not make any sense in that particular area.
But there probably needs to be traffic calming because of how fast people fly through that area because of it being a straightaway,
And it is, yep, it's,
I think that our action on 9A, Roman numeral 7 should address that.
Right.
On that stretch, as I recall, Barnum and Hallett, we just put a stop sign. It was only a block or two away from this. There's a stop sign 2 blocks away. It was just,
Yeah.
we were talking about it, and it was just installed.
yes, it was, Commissioner.
So this is 2 blocks away from a proposed traffic light. I think that's a little overkill. One of the reasons why we chose a stop sign in Barnum and Hallett is that we didn't feel that at night it was proper to have people stopped in that area for long stretches because of its, activity.
Anybody care to make a motion to approve the recommendation
So moved.
of the city traffic? It's been moved. Is there a second?
Aye.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Last item, installation of multi-way stop at Cassuth Street and Maple Street. According to the city traffic engineer, it's unwarranted. There was they usually require a minimum of 5 accidents in a 12-month period. That would have been corrected. There were if the stop signs were in place. And also not enough volume to warrant it. So his recommendation is to deny. Gentlemen, any questions?
No, on that one, I mean, if there are not any question, I'll move to accept the engineer's
Second.
position.
The motion, it's been moved to accept the city traffic engineer's request not to approve, and it's been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion is passed. Gentlemen, unless we have anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Oh, you guys want to stick around?
Aye.
It's been seconded by Matt Cuminato. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? We are adjourned. The board reconvenes as trustees of Police Relief Fund Plan A. Roll call of Pension A members.
Lions.
Lyons,
Farrow.
Cuminato, are you here?
Yes, yeah.
Still with us? And Roach. We have a quorum for Plan A. This is also the same request of Mrs. Teresa Laturco to receive a widow's pension effective immediately. As the department clerk explained, paperwork is all in order. Entertain a motion to approve. Commissioner Cuminato.
Aye.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn Plan A,
So move.
seconded,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Lyons. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Have a
Night.
good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Bye, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good night. Thanks for jumping on, Tom.